And what is going on, YouTube? Hope you folks are having a fantastic day. I'm your host, Noel. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I uploaded. It's just been a lot of personal stuff going on, and it just prioritize as much as I love making content. The little time I have, I rather focus on generating leads and trying to get business for now and future. As like I said, I love content, but that's not really a major priority. This is something I like to do to help build my brand and just spread some knowledge. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Today we're going to be talking about what is pretty much best for first-time home buyers. Now, at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer to this question I get asked a lot. To each his own. This is just my personal opinion as a realtor and also as your friend. If you know me in real life and you're just seeing this video to support the channel, thank you. So let's get into it. Let's look at the options you have. You have single family homes, condos, townhouse, and villa. So in this case, as we know, condo, townhouse, and villa, those pretty much have an association. Some single family homes do have an association as well, but then there's still single family home. It's a little bit different. Yes, you may have rules and regulations because association, but then people just feel more better. So now when I get asked this question a lot, Noel, what's best for me as a first-time home buyer? A single family home or a condo, townhouse, or villa? And I tell people, first, you got to look at your financial statements. So what I mean by that is this. See it this way. A is a house, B is condo, townhouse, villa. You got to look at the long term. Do you have the money to support it financially? So yes, let's say, for example, you made $2,000, $1,000 a week, excuse me, and that's $4,000 a month. And let's say you have no bills at all. You're debt free, and the only bill you're going to have is pretty much your mortgage, let's just say. So your mortgage is $2,000 a month. That's fine. You could cover the mortgage now. From what it shows on paper, you make $4,000 a month. $2,000 is your monthly payments, leave you a total of $2,000 a month left over from your check of work. Now, let's say down the line, 6 months down the line, because this is a very common thing that happens, the AC gets blown out and that cost is about, let's say, $7,000. Or your roof is at that point where the life expansion was supposed to be 2 or 3 more years, and God forbid something happens, it starts to leak and you have to replace the whole roof. That could be about $30,000 for about a 1,200 square foot home. Do you have that money in the bank to support you in the long run? Now, I tell a lot of people you could take money from your 401k, which is your retirement account, to help you support those stuff, but do you have enough money at the end of the day? Do you have assets that you could liquidate right away if you needed to, whether it was cash or stock or anything, just anything that you could just sell within the next 24 hours, you're guaranteed to get that money. And that's something I tell a lot of people that always come to me, especially young people, which I'm happy to see young people are tired of renting and want to buy. But I also tell them at the same time, you need to have the money. Now, unless you got rich parents at the end of the day that's like, look, we'll cover any expense that something happens, don't work out, then hey, I always say, then go with it. Go with the single family home. But in reality though, it all falls down to what you can afford. Just because you can afford the monthly payments for the interest rate, the insurance, the taxes, etc., that seems good and all. But once again, you always got to think long term. You can't think short term. That's why a lot of people get into a point where they put themselves head over water and they have to either put their home off a collateral because they just don't think about the long-term finances that a home takes. To maintain a home takes a lot, especially somebody that's working a lot. You gotta make sure your grass is clean, because if not, it's a fine. If your if your grass isn't clean and maintained up to date, as like making it look nice, or your pool's dirty, or you have like, it's just a lot that goes into maintaining a home, and a lot of people don't get that. Now, unless you have, like I said, you have money, you're not in debt, and you can afford it, then like I said, go for it. But just think about that when buying a home. Now let's look at a condo, townhouse, villa now. Now I'm not going to get into the difference between what's the difference between each. We're just going to keep it as one category. Now if you look at that, yes, you have a home at the end of the day, but now let's look at what you're paying for. Now, obviously, you're paying for your association fee. If you're staying in a place, for example, in Palm Beach County, some of them have membership fees, so you're paying for the membership fees, etc. Then you have your mortgage, your insurance, your taxes you're paying on top of that. Now, with your association fee, as some of you guys know, depending on the association, the community, some owners are in charge of their own. Some owners are in charge of their own parts of the home. So, for example, my new listing I'm putting up in Hypalaxo next week. The owner's in charge of the roof. Like the friend of mine that's selling her place, she just put a brand new roof, a 2020 roof. So whoever buys that property has pretty much a new roof. So that's good for that owner. They're good for another 20 to 30 years, depending on, God forbid, nothing happens, or depending on the type of material they use when they put the roof on. So you got to look at things like that. So let's say this is just a typical though association that covers everything: water, sewer, trash removal, electrical, pool, the clubhouse, your grass. You see, that's time out of your hand. So it goes back to investing your money to people to take care of the stuff, because you don't have that much time, and that makes a little bit more responsibility for the association now to keep the place up to par, where you just come in and out, you sleep, you wake up, you do what you got to do, and you call it a day. But then, like I said, it goes back to certain communities, such as more villas and townhomes, where you're in charge of your own stuff, where you have to take out your own trash, you have to clean your own lawn, you have to fix your own roof, and certain stuff depending on what associations cover. Most associations here in South Florida pretty much cover a lot of stuff, which is just basically the common areas, the grass, the pool, the clubhouse, sewer, water. Most of the time I've seen that more than anything. Roofs, like I said, that's pretty much more of a villa townhouse, because obviously condo is a building, so the roof, they're not going to charge people for that. Maybe a special assessment, but that's as far as it. So take this information with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, just know where you stand at financially, and think of yourself as long term. For example, if you have a job that's only making $30,000 a year, even though you could buy a house, let's just say, are you going to be there for the rest of your life? How you see yourself financially years down the road? Is that something you really want to do and stay in that one position? I always tell people right now, especially young people that come to me, buy now, whether it's a condo, townhome, save it for a year or two, live in it for a year or two, save that property, and then rent it out and be investment. Start thinking long term. I always tell people, don't worry about short term. Like, you could always get a new property. You can either sell that and then buy a house 20, 30 years down the line whenever you're ready. Like, you need to get multiple sources of income. You can't just rely on your job. You got to think long term. But I'm not going to get to that part of the topic. That's just something to throw out there as a golden nugget. Just think long term as far as passive income. But at the end of the day, like I said, always think with your wallet and think ahead as well. Either way, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. In the comment section, let me know what you think is best. If you just buy a house right away and live there for 10, 15 years and gain the equity, or do my method of starting small, will fit your budget, and then probably in a year or two or whenever, rent it out, do that for passive income, and then buy the dream home you want, or sell it and just get your dream home from there, and you don't really care about passive income, all that. Hope you folks enjoyed this video and this tip. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.